things at the moment.
Well, Paula, how do you combine spirituality with 9/11 truth? They seem like two different
Well,
things.
you know what? This is such an interesting discussion. The heck with Philip, because he's not online.
Well,
I'm
I don't have that much time. Can I do about 20 minutes here?
Yeah, this is Paula Gloria, and this is a show called Farther Down the Rabbit Hole. Right now, I was hoping to do a Skype interview with Philip Lippitz in Columbus, Ohio, but he doesn't seem to be online, so I'm streaming off of Rabbit Hole Central. And I also have with me on the line one of my first subscribers, which is Peter in Scotland. And I also have from the East Village, Alan Steinfeld. And so I'm doing a shot here of the telephone when I'm on you guys.
Okay.
So
well,
Alan's
you can pull me up on the computer, actually, on my YouTube channel if you want to see what I look like.
Oh, okay. I'll do that while you're talking. So.
But anyway, no, I was talking to Peter. First, how did you find Paula on the YouTube? What brought you to her site?
Well, it was through looking for videos about 9/11 that I came across Paula's YouTube account and started watching her videos. I was particularly interested in the interviews with Webster Tarpley.
Oh, yeah, she was a big promoter of Webster in the early days of her 9/11 investigation. So, what kind of spiritual background do you come from?
Well, I've only really got into sort of thinking about spirituality in the last 12 months. I'd actually been an atheist.
But did something happen to you that made you start to think about it?
I'm trying to remember what it was.
Something must have provoked an awakening.
Yeah, well, I think it was watching Paula's videos.
Oh, really?
And also the near-death experiences as well.
What happened in your near? Can you describe what
No,
happened?
I didn't have a near-death, but I've been reading about them and watching videos on YouTube about it. So that's the kind of experiences that really waking me up to the prospect that our consciousness at least carries on after physical death.
So you started to think there was some, value, and these people weren't just making up stories from a psychological background. There was something convincing about that.
Yeah, well, there's too many people, really.
So then when you started to consider the fact that maybe there is life after death or consciousness exists outside the body, how did that then affect how you look at your own life?
Well, it made me feel a whole lot better because it doesn't cheer you up thinking that when you're dead, that's you gone forever. So it made me feel quite a lot better, and it's made me want to try to be a better person in my life.
So do you think, I mean, what I think is that there's some kind of conspiracy among scientists to hold on to this existential worldview that life is created by accident and that, you know, we're freaks of nature and we don't have to worry about or take responsibility for our actions on the planet because it doesn't matter anyway. There's a kind of capitalistic paradigm that doesn't have us respect life in a sense or value things. But I think if we value ourselves as consciousness, we understand the specialness of being here because this is an opportunity to learn and evolve spiritually.
Well, that's right. Science is really very backward, actually. Yeah. They're still holding on to a belief. For example, I've been watching a video about a new theory of the universe, which is the universe is powered largely by electricity, and the stars are electromagnetic in nature rather than nuclear powered. And again, this is something which makes a lot of sense when you think that the universe has been created by an intelligent being, which would be God. An intelligent being wouldn't make stars that are nuclear powered because obviously it's a very lethal form of energy production. So there's a lot of scientists want to hold on to the old thoughts that we simply evolved out of a primordial soup and there's nothing more to us, but I don't believe that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes way back. A great person speaking about that is Peter Russell, who talks about the global brain.
Oh, okay. I thought.
better. This is my website page, which has events all over New York City. That's newrealities.com. But if you go to the YouTube page, where I have 90 different videos on, with people discussing these ideas of how we are much bigger than what the scientific model says. That Newtonian science says the world is a machine, and I say no. It's more consciousness comes first. The primacy of consciousness. People call that God, but I think God is such an antique, old, awfully associated word that has to do with religion. I would say spirit and consciousness is a much more powerful, relevant word that transcends the old religions. So I think we're coming into a new time that we need to create new vocabulary and new definitions and get rid of the old religions and the old ways of government as well. So there is that combination of spirit and politics. So tell me, Peter, what do you think about 9/11? What do you think happened there?
Well, it certainly wasn't anything to do with the Muslims.
How did you come to that conclusion?
When I saw video footage showing the fact that when the before and after shots of 9/11, the original footage that didn't show any plane hitting the buildings, it was filmed from a helicopter, and then the footage that was shown on television showed a plane from the side. It was the same footage because the Twin Towers were in the same position, and the helicopter was at the same altitude, and you saw the nose of the plane coming out the other side of the building. And if the plane had really hit the building, then the back end of it would have broken and shown signs of damage before, instead of just slicing straight through the building.
Even if it was going at 500 or 400 miles an hour?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Are you an engineer?
So.
Did you study that?
No, but I mean, the planes, they're only made out of mostly aluminum. There's some parts are made out of titanium, like the wheel sections, I think. But yeah, the wings, there's sort of damage to the wings as well, even at that speed.
So, what do you do? What kind of work are you involved in?
Well, at the moment I'm not working. I used to be a bus driver.
And what would you like to do?
Oh, oh my goodness.
If you could do anything at all, without, any limits, what would you love to do?
I'd like to be able to learn about doing healing.
You'd like to learn about healing? Oh, great,
yeah.
Great. Are you in Edinburgh, or where are you?
I'm in Glasgow.
Glasgow, huh? Yeah, I'd love to. Maybe we'll take a trip there, Paula.
Oh yeah, I'm just emailing. I'm emailing Philip to see what's up because he said this was a time he wanted to do it, and I thought he could listen on Rabbit Hole Central.
Well, he could jump in, as well.
And then jump in. But do you want to carry on with...
I will carry on. Where's Rosalind Chapel? Is that up there in Scotland?
Yeah, Rosalind Chapel. It's somewhere near Edinburgh. I've not actually been to it yet.
Because that's supposedly the holding of a lot of mystical traditions of the Rosicrucians there.
Yeah.
Rosalind Chapel there. I mean, Scotland's a very mystical place, isn't it? The island of Ionia, isn't that Iona?
Island of Iona, yeah. I'm not too familiar of it.
Are you familiar with any of the sacred sites in Scotland?
No, I'm just starting to try to research into it. Just now I'm reading one of David Icke's books. It's one of his first ones called Truth Vibrations.
Whose book is that?
David Icke.
Oh, David Icke, yeah.
Yeah, I'm reading his book just now.
You see, I don't go so much for it. I mean, I'm open to it, but David Icke seems a little extreme for me.
Well, some things maybe. The thing is that he gets his information from other people, and it's quite possible that people have been deliberately spreading him disinformation in an attempt to discredit him.
Well, I also think he's deliberately spreading disinformation in an attempt to, he seems a bit angry to me, like an angry person, so in order to get his anger out, he is, attacking people like that. And it doesn't mean that it might not be true. I'm sure there is some truth to it. It's just that, like everything, like in politics, like in spirituality, you have to use your own discernment to separate truth from what people would like to be true or want other people to believe. And it just comes down to your personal experience. How do you feel? And no one can argue with your feelings. So,
yeah. It's just that in that book he talks about sort of spiritual sites and ancient sites where they've got these standing stones. So I may try and visit some of them and see if anything happens.
Yeah, the standing stones are old sacred sites that create a magnetic field. You know, it's not so much like people go and believe that these places were special. They actually is an energy there. So yeah. I think if we understand that we're not just material beings, but we're energy beings as well, that we can be more open to the energy in these places. Where in Scotland are there standing stones?
Well,
are there any places?
I've still to look into Scotland, but I know that up in the islands, I think up in the Orkneys and the Shetlands, they've got standing stones there, and probably on Iona, like you were saying.
Huh.
There's probably standing stones there as well.
And I know in the south of England there's standing stone Avebury, and of course Stonehenge is probably the most famous of the standing stone structures.
Yes.
But right around that area, in Avebury and Salisbury Hill, and that's actually where a lot of the crop circles are. And I hope to make it over there to England this summer to check out the crop circles in person. It'd be great to stream live from a crop circle, wouldn't it, Paula?
Yeah. Could I since Peter wanted to talk about levitation.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
He first wanted to go to India. Philip was the one who was studying a lot with Swami Kaleshwar, who made it a point to say that if a master had the ability to do the miracles, and if the souls around him, or even one soul, was ready and was mature and needed to see this as part of his spiritual process, it would be bad karma not to display them.
Right.
And this ran in the face of prior spiritual understanding, which was that if somebody does the miracles, run the other way. That it can be very draining to witness something like this.
Well, actually, can I interrupt for a second? You want me to call Philip on my phone and to my other phone and see if I can get him to call in?
I already emailed him. So.
Well, did he get an answer?
Well, yeah, try calling. Call on the
I'll
other
call
phone.
on my other phone, but keep talking because I think that's a really big change that Swami Kaleshwar is providing for people, the opportunity to not just miracles, but giving them the formula to do miracles.
Right.
I mean, he's giving his disciples some amazing powers, which he says are available to anyone if you do these mantras. And he said mantras are like pin codes to fabricating reality, in a sense.
Right.
So
right.
Go into that a little bit, Paula.
Yeah, while you multitask and call Philip, what I'm going to do, Peter, is... Oh, well, how does that sit with you, Peter? Have you looked at any of my videos on Swami Kaleshwar?
Yeah. Can I just ask, does Swami Kaleshwar do the levitation for people, yes?
Well, he did one thing better than levitation. Tell him about, Paula, the way the statue you saw spit out a stone, animated.
Well, why don't you be calling Philip before we go too far down this rabbit hole? Because I want to make sure Peter's digesting this in a constructive way.
I'll make sure, Peter. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me call Peter. But
call Philip.
Go ahead. But
and I want to listen more about to what's going on with Peter and what he's saying.
If you look at my Hal Puthoff interview about quantum fields, have you seen that? He describes levitation as a quantum effect. Have you seen that one?
Are you calling Philip?
Go to YouTube, New Realities, under Hal Puthoff Levitation, and you'll see him talk about it being a quantum effect. Anyway, I'm calling.
I'm looking up your page now, Alan. Which one was it?
Philip there?
Let's see.
Alan.
Okay, we're looking right now for
Should I call him on the other number?
Hal Puthoff. Here he is.
Yeah, I have his phone number. I'll just call him on that. Okay, okay. Thank you. Hello?
Oh, yeah. Is that, well, I see here there's part 4 of 5.
Levitation is this the one that talks about levitation, Paula?
I don't know.
I think it's part, part 3, actually.
Part 5.
Oh, there it is there, levitation, yeah. I'll watch that.
But you could play some of that now, Paula, if you want to talk about levitation. It's go to how put I think it's
Part 3. Okay, got it here.
Does it say levitation?
You've got 900.
Oh, yeah. You want to play some of that sound, Paula?
Sure.
And with the levitation, I mean, do you know how long they're able to actually levitate for?
Well,
Is there a time limit?
he said the Christian saints were able to do this because they created a quantum field around themselves. And they could do it for as long as they want.
Are they able to actually move as well? Rather than just walk the way, can they
for
move
them, it was a
forward?
phenomena that they couldn't control. But from what I understand, for the Christian saints and sometimes. But well, you should talk about Swami. The Maharishi was all into levitating. Paula, you know about that whole thing that he talked about?
Yeah, because I was doing it.
Okay. And
So they
Right.
can only actually levitate off the ground.
You didn't think, Alan, I wanted to show my hand?
I'm not sure. I'm going to call Philip. But
okay.
I'm sure there are some masters that could levitate. Why are you so interested in levitation?
I don't like flying in planes, and I'd love to do it travel by levitation. It'd be wonderful.
I see. That's funny.
He's a practical man.
But being practical about it, yeah.
I just want to call into Paula.
While Alan's on the phone with Philip, I just want to see, once we get Alan back aboard, because he's talking about this interview that he had with Hal Puthoff, and that's a picture of Hal Puthoff. And Hal Puthoff works...
Wait, Paula, Philip's going to Skype in. What's your Skype address?
Mine is Rabbit Hole Central.
Rabbit Hole Central.
But if he's online, I tried to Skype him. It said he wasn't online.
Well, he just woke up.
He just woke up. Let's see.
Wait, so you do what? What's that, Philip? Okay. He's going to Skype now, Paula.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, you can conference him into the existing call, right?
No, it's okay. I'll just Skype him.
She's going to Skype you, I think. Okay, he's online right now.
Okay, so
Getting
let's see
it?
if we're going to get Philip. You can stay on if you want, Alan.
Okay, I'll stay on for a little bit.
Okay. Hey, Philip.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. But I can't see you yet.
Oh, you want to see me?
Yeah, I want to see you. We're rolling a show here.
Oh, well, I don't look pretty.
It's okay. No one said you were pretty.
I could work with something else.
Hang on,
If you've got a website, I can do that.
No,
So is it cold out there, Peter?
Yes, it's quite cold in Scotland, but it was nice and sunny today. It's dark
I don't
here
know
now.
why it's not conferencing in.
Yeah,
It's not
it's
doing
now 6:45 in the evening.
If you go, maybe,
You're far north, aren't you?
should I call you on the regular
I
phone?
can switch computers and try to do it on a different computer. It might
Why
work
are you in
The only thing is I'm a little time constrained here. Why don't we, can you hear go to rabbithole.central.tv, can you do both?
Florida, possibly, or
Well, you can look to
California.
Florida or California. That's available.
Well, I don't think I'd be able to emigrate. I don't have any sort of job skills that they'd be looking for.
Oh, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you have a lot of skills. Even as a bus driver, you don't want to do that though anymore, do you?
No.
Why don't you take some healing courses there in Glasgow? I'm sure there's a Reiki course you could do.
Oh yeah, I've heard of Reiki. I've not looked into it much though, but there is a
Rabbit Hole
good centre in
Central.tv?
Glasgow that does Reiki
Yeah,
and
then you can see us.
I think that's a good way to start. By taking
If I switch computers, I'm sure I can get the video
start to
going.
feel
Hang
energy.
on a
Okay.
second.
Feeling energy. you might have a
And
natural
then
talent for that.
call me back in about
because I
a
would
minute
love
and a
to be
half.
able to do that.
Okay.
Okay, well, just do it. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just go right down there on Monday.
Okay, I'm supposed to call Philip back in a minute and a half.
All right.
And
well,
I think this
can
is...
get off so you can
No,
call.
no, no. You can stay on because he's going to Skype.
Oh, but how are you going to call him?
He's calling me, or I'm calling him. I just hit the name Philip Lippitz. Are you not on Skype, Alan?
I'm not on Skype.
It's a wonderful thing. And then when I get the video, I can roll it in on the switcher and stream it out.
Okay.
I wish I had more time though, because I'm
Why?
because I want to be down at Ground Zero.
Oh, what time?
Well, you know, I'd like to be there by 2:30.
So why don't you finish the program with Peter and Philip?
Well, I only have it's already 22 minutes of the show. Let's just finish us guys, okay?
Okay. Well, if Philip comes in, great.
Peter, when you started watching me with Webster Tarpley, what did you feel about my new direction with no planes coming into the World Trade Center?
Well, I'd heard a little bit about it before, about the directed energy weapons. That's from a woman called Dr. Judy Wood.
Right.
She has a website where she shows pictures of damaged cars that were damaged in very strange ways, including a car that was kind of bent and warped. And so also I read that with the weight of the Twin Towers when they collapsed, the measurements on the Richter scales were not sufficient enough to account for the mass of the buildings, and so most of the buildings must have been turned to dust, including the steel. So it doesn't make sense that planes caused that, and ordinary explosives may well have been involved in some of the explosions in the buildings, but I think ultimately they were disintegrated using energy weapons.
Alan, what do you think about the fact that Peter is a bus driver? Do you think that in any way that means what he just said has any less merit? Alan?
Hello? I missed something. I had a call. What?
Oh, you missed a lot.
Oh, what's that?
Let's see if we get Philip on. Philip, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I still can't see you, but
I'm
once I get
once
I get a visual, I'll roll you in. Peter, could you repeat what you said about Dr. Judy Wood's website?
Well, there's a woman called Dr. Judy Wood who has a website dedicated to exposing the probable fact that the Twin Towers were destroyed mostly by directed energy weapons. And there's lots of pictures on her website, including pictures of one particular car, which you can't even recognise what kind of car it was, because the body of it was twisted and warped to such an extent that you can't recognise it. And that couldn't have been done by anything of any natural sort of explosion. And there was no damage to the paintwork. And there were cars which had been partially burnt in some parts of the car, and the rest of it completely undamaged. And also, when the Twin Towers collapsed, the collapse was registered on Richter scales in the vicinity of New York or thereabouts, and the actual mass of the buildings, had they collapsed in the manner that is claimed by the 9/11 Commission report, it would have registered much more strongly on the Richter scale, especially because New York is sitting on
Granite.
solid granite, so that would the more vibration would go through the earth that way. So it's quite clear that the entire mass of those buildings didn't plummet to the ground. Most of it turned to dust.
Huh.
And the question that I had asked Peter while you were on the telephone was, do you think the fact that Peter is a bus driver in any way detracts from his observations and skills to evaluate, by going to a website and exposing himself to something like Dr. Judy Wood, because she is a professor of civil engineering in a university in Georgia, I think?
Well, I wouldn't think it would detract. I think you have to be very aware. I know driving a bus in New York, or driving in New York, or riding a bicycle, actually your awareness and perception needs to be heightened, as opposed to by just sitting at a desk.
Well, that's a good point, but I think in general, Peter, with no offense, people want to hear from experts, and they want to be... excuse me? Peter?
Well, I'd like to hear from experts as well, sure.
I know, but see, the problem is a lot of the experts are beholden to institutional funding. And so there's sort of a relief that if the expert says, well, the airplanes went in, the fires were so strong, it melted the building in a pancake and it came collapsing down. And we don't want to know more. I even have totally fessed up to people that I had these DVDs in my apartment for maybe 6 months about the TV fakery. And I did not even want to look at them because I sensed by how they were treating people who were embracing this theory, I didn't want to be in the crazy group.
Well, now you are, though. I mean, now you are in that group.
But does that mean I'm crazy or the group is crazy?
Or nobody's crazy. I don't know what it means.
Well, that's why I've got a picture here of Shirdi Baba, because he is of the lineage of Avadut, and Avadut sometimes is considered crazy.
Well, maybe we should talk to Philip about that.
I was really hoping we would get Philip, but I don't know where Philip is. He was sleeping.
Oh, I thought he was just there.
No, he was there for a while. I'll see if I can get him again.
Oh, okay, because the tradition of these great saints is that they do act crazy because they confront people's belief systems about the nature of reality. So, you know, reality is not what we think it is at all, how I understand it.
So let me check my email and see. Oh, here. Here's Philip. Philip? Hello?
Yeah, I'm back.
Can you hear us even if we can't see you? Time is...
I can hear you. I'm working on trying to get the video going.
Don't worry about it. Go to rabbitholecentral.tv and see if you can engage in the conversation, because I can't stay much longer. And it's been very interesting. Alan has been having a discussion with Peter Duffy. Not Peter Duffy. Yeah, Peter... Okay. In Scotland about the World Trade Center. And then we were talking about the whole phenomenon. Peter had searched out a website by a professor of civil engineering in Georgia. And Peter, do you want to tell Philip what you learned? And let's do a sound check if Philip can hear. Peter?
Hello?
Yes, what?
Can you hear Philip?
I can't hear Philip either.
I can't hear him.
Oh, I guess Philip's gone.
No, I'm here.
Did you hear what? Can you hear Peter?
I can hear him, sort of.
Well,
He's very soft.
You know what? Could we postpone this for another day? I'm getting a little stressed by the time constraints.
All right. Well, we'll continue this. Peter, it's been great talking to you.
It's been great talking to you too.
Yeah.
Check out some of my
Peter,
videos
I
about.
apologize
Check
for
out
not
that
being
levitation
online
one.
for
Send
you.
me an email about it or something. Let me
I
know
will
what you
do.
think.
I will do.
Always nice to be down the rabbit hole with you, Paula.
Oh yeah, thanks, Alan. And I think we can do something very dynamic, and let's have all of us together again.
With Philip.
Yeah, with Philip. And then I will write an email and give some background of what we all should research. Like, I want to look at your Hal Puthoff interview about the levitation, and then maybe, Peter, you can make some references to what you've been learning. And I think we can make a great show. Is that okay, Philip?
Sure.
Okay, great. So I'm going to sign off now because I'm going to go down to Ground Zero and start selling some DVDs.
And you're going to stream from there, right?
Yeah, I'm going to try to stream. So rabbitholecentral.tv, check in about 40 minutes. Okay?
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Bye. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so I'm off to Ground Zero. Soon.
Déjenlo vivir en dos. I don't want to. Fuck.